Just trying to survive and learn to love along the way. By Foreplay on AO3. Episode 2, Chapter 2 of Secrets and Waiting. No one says a word during the blessedly short ride to the hospital, and before long they're pulling into the near fully parking lot, finding a spot near the edge. Shouta holds the door open for Midoriya, allowing him at least the option of walking in there on his own. He does so, slowly, shivering hard, and Shouta keeps a hand close to him in case he falls. Hizashi, we're gonna need a few extra forms tonight. Hizashi gives Midoriya a sad look before responding. I know which ones you mean. That's all that's said until they reach the nurse's station inside the entrance of the hospital. I am so sorry, but there will be quite a wait before he can see a doctor. There was a villain attack and many civilians were hurt in the crossfire. She gives them a sympathetic look before handing Hizashi a clipboard with several forms on it, pointing them towards the waiting room of the patriotic ward. Shouta herds Midoriya that way, while Hizashi stays behind to request the extra forms. Midoriya is moving so slowly that Hizashi is back with them by the time that they reach the waiting room. They settle into a set of chairs away from the other people with the heroes on the other side of Midoriya, shielding him from any prying eyes. Shouta takes advantage of the bright hospital lights to take a closer look at Midoriya's injuries. There were severe cuts on his legs that he missed the first time, a few of them still oozing blood. What's far more concerning is the blood matting the kid's hair to the back of his head. Problem child, what did you mean the truth about your quirk? His voice is quiet and toned. What's far more concerning is the blood matting the kid's hair to the back of his head. Problem child, what did you mean the truth about your quirk? His voice is quiet and tone gentle, but Midoriya still flinches. Hizashi looks up from the forms and focuses on Midoriya, a small frown on his lips. Ignoring him, Shouta focuses on Midoriya, waiting for him to meet his eyes. He does, and Shouta feels like he just won a trust blink moment with a cat when Midoriya nods and opens his mouth to speak. About 10 months ago, before the entrance exam, I was attacked by a villain on my way home from school. All Might saved me, but went to leave before I could ask him a question. So I grabbed to his leg and jumped away with me. We landed, and he shrunk and told me the story of his quirk, how it could be passed along, and that he was the 8th holder. Shouta can see where this was going, and he doesn't like it at all. Hisashi's expression tells him he feels the same way. Midoriya takes a few deep breaths before continuing, calming down as much as he can. I asked him if someone quirkless, someone like me, could be a hero, and he told me no. This is already much worse than Shouta thought. The number one hero told a young boy he couldn't be a hero without a quirk. There are so many things wrong with that. Before I knew it, he was gone. He left me on the roof the same day a bully told me to kill myself. I didn't really consider it, even though All Might said it was impossible. I still wanted to be a hero. This is going downhill so quickly. His problem child had been through so much before he even started at UA. Then there were nearby explosions. I wanted to see more heroes since I loved watching their fights, and it was the same villain that attacked me. But now it was attacking Kachan. The heroes weren't doing anything. I moved without thinking to help out and got Kachan. a bit more air. But then All Might showed up to save the day again. The heroes were so mad at me, but none of them ran in to help. When they finally let me leave, I was going straight home, but All Might showed up again and told me I could be a hero. He trained me and gave me his quirk on the day of the entrance exam. Midoriya hides his face with the sleeve of the too large sweater, and it seems like he's done with his story. There is so much to unpack there that Shouta has no idea what he can do to comfort the problem child. Hizashi does not have the same problem, and he pulls Midoriya into what Shouta knows is the most comforting hug. It lasts long enough for Shouta to pull his thoughts together and figure out what needed to be said. When they pull apart, Shouta takes a gentle hand on Midoriya's head and waits for him to look up before speaking. Midoriya, All Might should have never said that to you. There are many heroes who fight basically quirkless, myself included. I'm sure with determination, you could have made it to the hero course without a quirk. Look at Shinsou, for example. His quirk isn't a powerhouse like one like yours and All Might's, but now he's being transferred to the hero course because of his hard work. All Might should have given you time to practice with your quirk before the entrance exam, and he should have told me. That way I could help you earlier. We've got about 10 years of quirk training to catch up on, kid. Shouta doesn't bring up the bully's words. He knows they have to discuss it sooner rather than later. But the kid already has so much going on right now, and bringing that up is the last thing he needs. Midoriya looks surprised, to say the least. He probably thought that Shouta would get mad and expel him or something. Unlikely. Most of the kids in 1A had managed to worm their way into Shouta's heart, and his problem child is at the forefront. The kid looks exhausted, so he lets him rest and doesn't ask any more questions. For now. It's nearly 1:30 a.m. by the time a doctor has time for Midoriya, and Hizashi has to nudge both him and Shouta awake. Midoriya stands on shaky legs to follow the nurse, and both heroes stay close in case he falls. By the time they make it to the examination room, Midoriya is clearly in pain and looks ready to kneel over at any moment. The nurse makes them wait outside while he performs his examination, and it feels like hours before a doctor steps out of the room. But it was only a tense 30 minutes. Hello, I'm Dr. Claudua. Are you Midoriya's guardians? We are pro-heroes and his teachers. He called for help and we brought him here. What is his condition? Shouta gets straight to the point, wanting to be back by his student's side quickly. Hizashi gives him a knowing look. Midoriya is extremely malnourished and dehydrated. It's likely he hasn't had anything to eat for a few days now. And before that, I'll say he had very limited amounts. We got him started on IVs to start treatment for that. That's not good. How long has it been going on for? Why didn't anyone notice? He's got a bad sprain on his right wrist and bruising on 3 of his ribs. So we wrapped those, and you'll just have to be careful with how he moves. He's also got multiple contusions on his arms and legs, and some of them require stitches, which my nurse is administering right now. The cut on his face is mostly superficial, so we've just cleaned it and bandaged it. The doctor takes a moment to let it all settle in before she speaks again. The wound in his back of his head was a little more concerning, but I've used my healing quirk and now it's been downgraded to a mild concussion. Unfortunately, since he's so dehydrated and malnourished, I couldn't use my quirk for more than the head wound, so we'll have to let most of his injuries heal naturally. Technically, that's not as bad as it could be, but it's still very alarming. Shouta can feel that Hizashi feels the same way even before he speaks up. Can we see him, Doc? Of course. Okay, alright, we got straight into the doctor scene, what is next? I think the next one is them talking, figuring out. Then there's going to be the investigation. And while the investigation is happening, are we going to have a shopping trip? Can we get a shopping trip, please and thank you? It cannot be a found family getting adopted trope without the shopping trip. Come on. I have like 5 shopping trips on my fanfiction. Because I decided to add 5 shopping trips because I like the shopping trips, but I also don't like writing them because they're a pain in the ass. Okay, whatever. I think this was very interesting. Also, this solidifies my whole idea that Inko probably has been a manipulator to Izuku. I'm saying manipulator because the A word can... YouTube does not like the A word. Abuser. Oh my god, I said it. Okay, whatever. Mainly because being malnourished is like... not giving your children or people you take care of food and taking away that basic necessity, even if it's just a little bit, and being like, oh, well, here's this, here's that. I'm going to give you food when I want to. That is a type of abuse. I'm sorry. I said it. I'm not sorry. It is a type of abuse. It is very much, it's a form of control. It's a form of control. It is. And it is a type of abuse. So that's why I said I mainly think, and my theory still stands, that Izuku was never necessarily hit to the extent that he was. It was small hits here and there. It was really, really awful words every once in a while, which should not even happen, but like, let's say like not once in a while, like once a month. No, I mean like once a week, not even once in a while, like, you know, words about like, oh my god, you're worthless, or like not necessarily like outright like you're worthless, you're useless, right? But maybe in the sense of gaslighty-ish. Well, not gaslighty-ish, but like double-edged meanings, right? Saying like, oh, well, you know, no, it's fine the way you did it. I don't expect anything better from you. I'll just fix it. That is really, really manipulative, because it's not outright making the manipulator into the bad guy. It's not victimizing, but attacking the person who is directed it towards, right? This person's like, oh, I didn't do it well enough, or I didn't do this enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm this, or I'm that, while never stopping and thinking, this other person is bad, this other person is insulting me, this other person is shitty. In fact, sometimes you even take it like, oh, well, they're being nice because they're not even insulting me for it, and they're just taking it like, okay, I don't deserve this person. And it, by the seams of that probably is happening as well, plus the whole occasional, you know, not eating enough. And obviously I think this time the hits did not stop, and that scared Izuku. Because that's what happens with manipulators. You get so wrapped into their finger, especially children. Oh my god, especially children. You get so wrapped up, you don't even think of calling for help. I know a lot of people are like, I see a lot of people say, like, why don't they just call for help? It's not as black and white. As much as you say, oh, if I was in that situation, I would call for help. It's not that black and white. And it's not like the person starts manipulating you right off the bat. No, they gain your trust. They make you feel like you can trust them. And then they slowly start, you know, the bad habits. They start the small little playful nudges, or the small jabs into your self-esteem. And all the while, they've been prepping you this whole time, and even this little area is prep till you're fully wrapped around their finger, and they could release their true fucking colors, and it doesn't matter, because you have rose-tinted glasses now, and you can't see the red. They put the glasses on. You're not able to. And it's even worse for, you know, kids who get manipulated by their parents. They're quite literally conditioned from birth to be like that, to take it, to accept it. They can even pull the line of, I'm your parent, I brought you into this life, right? Which, yeah, you brought them, but that does not mean you have the right to all of their bodily autonomy or all of them or what they do with their life or anything like that, you know? So it's stuff like that, which I find really interesting. So I'm still going into the whole of, it was low enough in the sense of Izuku not outright getting scared to tell people, but high enough for it to cause some real damage. And I don't even think anyone would have actually cared because Izuku was quirkless. And we really established that quirkless people have been, or I mean, we haven't established this in this fanfic, but almost every fanfic, I mean, I haven't seen a fanfic where it wasn't the case, where quirkless people are treated like absolute garbage. But yeah. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.